Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry, and about 40 some miles upstream from New Orleans there are several plantations, and I'm going to take a tour of the Whitney Plantation, which is right on the river road. It's a 90-minute guided tour, so I'm going to go through it and show you some of the highlights.
So when they got here, they ain't found farmland, they found swampland. Biting. Far as the eye can see, everything's underwater, there's nowhere to grow food. Cholera, diphtheria, malaria, yellow fever, all manner of wild animals that love to eat to the death. Didn't have churches on plantations at all. This one is important because it's found in 1868 in a small town called Paulina, Louisiana. Paulina's on the east bank of the river, about 10 minutes up the river from here. This church on the east of the property with access. We could read or write their own name, but they are all still practicing. They call themselves the Anti-Yoke Benevolent Society. What they're doing here, y'all, is doing Bible study. They're illiterate up until this point. The Bible has always been read to them. It's always very specific scriptures. Things like obey your master, humble yourself, be happy with your station in life as a slave, because your riches will make you in heaven. Those are the original design as possible. So it's the original pulpit. The church is important because when they're captured in Africa, they're stripped of their native religions and forbidden to practice them. Statues in here are called the Children of the Whitney, and they're created by Woodrow Nash. He's an African-American artist from Akron, Ohio. He used old Civil War photographs of enslaved children as the models. Leave the eyes out of the statue to symbolize the hopelessness of being enslaved. The wall memorial as a whole has 354 names, and all those people were enslaved on the property here. And they're verified by using Owsley Haydell's inventories. We also call the people on the international slave trade side of the wall the Indigo generation. And so for the most part, if not all, those people are born in Africa. And the first thing you'll notice about the names on that side of the wall is there are very few African names up there. And that's the stripping of the first essential human birthright, the gift of the name. If y'all have questions, of course, please ask.
Excuse me.
But one of her brothers, she says in the quote, one of her brothers is had the mom. The mom had one boy by her mom. It doesn't hold a candle to the racism at this point. See, a racist today tells his child, we hate those people. We don't want to talk to those people, live with those people, or work around those people. At this point in history, though, I'm going to tell my child, y'all ain't people. Y'all property. And you ain't no different than the shoes you got on. When he walks a hole in the bottom, I'm going to throw him away and take him to the store and give him another pair. That's the same thing he's supposed to do with you. Use you, discard you, go get another one.
This is an artist's rendition of what's called longboats, which were the boats that went to shore in Africa to pick up the slaves to be put onto the big ship. They also have a little bit of swampland here.
Over 80 degrees, 85 degrees, 90% humidity stays here. Any day, y'all. That humidity makes all the difference in the world. This is the Field of Angels. Dedicated to 2,200 children. All of them were enslaved and died here in St. John Parish. The mothership was large, coming to the shallow water. Were long. Occupancy rates in the cabbage, y'all, 8 to 10 people per side in the growing season. In the grinding season, 3 times that. Now, the rope beds in there. No doubt about it. If we ever have a direct hit coming while I'm recording, I'm definitely gonna call Mr. John up and tell him, look, man, I'm about to come sleep in that thing. You're pallet on the floor, bring my little extra power back. That's my good mix. Yeah, you can see my uncle, y'all bought that. How much you paid for that car now, son? Slave jail. That's completed 1868, 3 years after Emancipation. And that's because the Confederacy had an ego, y'all. They never wanted to admit they were losing the war. Well, but the real one, a third of a mile downriver, access road, quarter of a mile down the access road. Y'all, the enslaved people are the wealth here. And the crop when it's there, when it's harvested. The land itself is worthless. That's how we got the Emancipation Proclamation. See, they teach us in school, Emancipation Proclamation free the slaves, and that's a lie, y'all. It did not free all slaves. It freed slaves only in the Confederate States, who really don't care what President Lincoln has to say, because they've succeeded and he ain't their president as far as they're concerned. Front yard, very close to the house, just like the mules. We live in a pretty little brick building. Enslaved population is a third of a mile downriver to reach the access road, quarter of a mile down that access road, and they live in those old wooden shacks like we went in back there. So even the pigeons they were going to eat here are housed and treated better than their enslaved people. Slave quarters here was originally was about to cause them to lose the property as a whole. So Marston took him to court to sue him out of his stake in the property and take full control of it. Today, cypress is protected. It's extremely valuable, and if they catch you cutting down a cypress tree, they are going to put you in jail. No doubt about it. The value of cypress wood today is so high that if you could buy the amount of cypress wood contained in just one of those slave cabins back there, it would cost you about $150,000. That's how valuable cypress wood is today. Power to her new husband if she remarries. Who's to say he ain't a bigger knucklehead than our brother-in-law over there? Go marry somebody, come here and lose everything just like he was already about to do. And so I think this lady just said, you know what? I can run it myself. If I need a man here, I got my brother-in-law to go through. Anything I need a man to do. And I think she just was a sign of what we had coming in our society. A woman fully capable of doing it, and she did it.
They've got a nice pond here too, with some clean looking dark green water. And we have an alligator in it, so no, I don't think they allow swimming in the pond here. Got a few alligators poking their heads out here. And inside the visitor center, they have all of these things on the wall here that tells about the history of the area. A lot of reading, so you could spend some time in here reading all this stuff. They've got one interesting sculpture here with a chain and the hand. And they got a lot of these statues of the children all over the place. Well, folks, that's the end of my tour of the Whitney Plantation. A lot of the time was spent listening to the guide tell us about the history of plantation slavery, what it was like, and also some of his opinion on what he thought about slavery. So it was an educational tour. I learned some things I didn't know. So I think you would enjoy this one. And there are several plantation operations in this area. And the tour guide said that this is the only one that really tells about the slavery history the way it was. And the others, he said, just kind of whitewashes it and calls the slaves workers, that kind of thing. So he said, take our tour and take one of those and you get both sides of it. Good day, folks.